let's do it. Hey everybody, so we're doing a specialty showcase today. Reason for it is because this is actually a beer that's just really special to me. This was a beer that was just extremely difficult to get for a very long time when I first got into beer. This is actually from Maine. It's made by two brothers that actually were just brewing this beer right out of their garage, and they kept selling out so quickly within their community, and it just kept blowing up. Imagine, this is just people brewing out of their garage and just keeps blowing up and blowing up and blowing up. Eventually, it got such a big cult following, and I just had to get my hands on it. The way that I ended up getting this was I ended up trading a beer for it. Something that was really hard to get out here in the West Coast called Pliny, which we'll do a showcase later on of. But this was a very difficult beer to get when I first initially had it. I'm able to now pick this up at my local store that actually carries it. It is a little pricey because it comes in at $8.50, but keep in mind this is from Maine and they only ship this out here once or twice a year. The other beer that I would really like to showcase on this one is called Dinner, which is their double IPA, which is the same exact beer, but this is their single version. So it's a single IPA. They have a double IPA version called Dinner. This one is called Lunch. You guys have heard me say several times now in my videos that I don't like multi-lagers or multi-pilsners or even multi-IPAs. That's where this changes that. This is a multi-IPA, however, it is also a blend of a very nice hop.
You know, I heard they recently decided to add more hops to it.
So it's blend of malt and hop, which finds that balance. You'll hear me say balance very often because I like balanced beers. So it's not a multi-IPA, it is a multi and hoppy IPA, but there's a lot of malt in this. This is a phenomenal beer. I recommend anybody who's already gotten into craft beer, that's gotten into IPAs, that's gotten at least into very earthy like flavors and bitter flavors to start getting into this. I wanted to showcase this because this is a very special beer to me, and I want to make sure that anybody who's gotten this far into it, make sure that you have this beer. This is a phenomenal beer. Very special place to me in my heart because the first time that I ended up having this, I shared it with a nephew of mine who I was just getting into craft beer. We had the lunch version and the dinner version, which is that double IPA that I was talking about. And till this day, we still talk about this. We ended up sharing it over WrestleMania. It was actually pretty fun times. I'm just gonna give you a couple of quick tasting notes. I already can tell you, I'm gonna love this. This is gonna be the easiest tasting notes I'll ever do here. And here you go. So a lot of malt. You guys have seen me already. This is a lot of malt, and I can tell you right now, it's just not that overly maltiness that I've talked about in the past. Very clean malt. It's sweet. It's like the sweetness that you get from the hop itself. And as soon as you go into it, it is just an absolute wonderful. You get so much sweetness of the actual hop itself. It tastes almost like honey, but then it stops, cuts it, gives you all the earthiness, and then it actually hits you with that malt backbone that actually kind of lingers right here, right in the back of your palate. And it's actually just kind of like an underlying flavor that allows the hops to actually punch you right up front, but not over the point where it's taking over the entire palate. It actually blends very well with the malt and the hop. It is a very well balanced beer, and it has a great mouthfeel because it has almost like a thickness to it, and it just tastes very rich because of that. So one thing I really want to hint on this, I'm using something that you can relate to. This has a lot of like this like orange pulp type flavor that you can actually taste. It's like you just kind of grabbed an orange, kind of bit right into it. It's very citrusy, and it has that like hint of like honey on it. It's so incredibly rich. It just has this very nice thickness to it. The beer is just so well balanced. I've been drinking this for the last 13 years. Every single time I can get my hands on it, I immediately grab it. I know it's a little pricey at $8.50, but this is beer drinking once you've already gotten very into this. It is absolutely the top pick whenever I want an IPA. If I see it on the store shelf, I'm definitely buying a couple of bottles. I literally bought like 8 of these when I went to Hollingshead. I was like, wait, there's no limit on this? And the guy's like, nah, no limit. I bought 8 of them. And this is actually my second to last one. This is like, I think why I ended up getting so into craft beer. I think when you really realize how much actual enjoyment you're getting palate wise, it's like eating like your favorite hamburger spot and you like hit that like note, you're like, oh man, it's just like nostalgia, that your favorite pizza spot. And that's what this does to me. It kind of you can even see like immediately I went from being hyped up to like this mellow, just having nostalgia. It's just such a great feeling. This beer brings me back to so many great memories, and it's crazy how I can have over 5,000 beers, and I'm literally like, oh, remember that one time we had that one beer and this one? Yeah, I can recall it immediately. I can recall almost every single beer immediately, as long as it's memorable. If it sucked, I can. Oh, if it sucks really bad, I can always remember it. Like, oh, that beer sucked. But if it's just an unmemorable beer or something that's like whatever, it doesn't matter. But those beers that like are like this, man, I'll tell you right now, owners of Maine Brewing Company, you guys keep putting this out and letting me have it over here in Los Angeles. I'm gonna keep cleaning out at Hollingshead every time it comes by.